Most Power BI KPI cards just show numbers, but they don't explain what is really happening, what the numbers mean. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to build a dynamic KPI card that automatically compares performance to targets using the reference label and calculate gaps and dynamic colors, coloring, and even tell the user the action to take. Welcome to MED Analyst channel. If you are new here, kindly subscribe to my channel, drop a like for this video, and check out my previous videos. Like we can see on our reports where the KPI was used, we have different KPIs here that tell the different stories. We could see the percentage change from previous year and the number of projects that was added this current year, the active projects, the number at risk that requires attention. This will make you dive deep into knowing, okay, what projects are those. Then the budget variance, it's a good one, the 50 million euro below budget, so no action is needed. We can also see the average day delay, the number of days that was the average day delay across board, and the completion percentage. Our target is 80% to this gap. So we can also see the number of projects that is above the target. We have 20 projects above 80% completion. Then we have 7 projects that are above the target of 7 days. So this tells a better story. So by the end of this tutorial, you will not build basic KPIs anymore in Power BI again. So let's dive right in. So this is a blank sheet. I already imported my data sets. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is to create my measure table where I'll store all my measures. So on that enter data, I will name this as I could call this calculated table. Right? Calculated table. So it's going to load and show up in a data pane, as to see. Good. So like we have there, we have total projects. So I want to have a new measure called total projects. So I'm going to right click on calculated table and click on new measure. Right? So I'm going to count distinct counts the project's ID. Right? So I have that. So after doing the total project, the next KPI we're going to work on is the active projects. So how do we get the active projects? Projects that are not yet completed, that are ongoing. So basically, create a new measure. First of all, get the completed projects. So I'll use the calculate function on start projects. Web projects. Okay, I think it's project status is completed. Let me check that out. because I'm dealing with a numeric figure, I'm going to put my comma separator. So that's then I put it at 2 decimal place like this. Okay, so let's just bring in our KPI card. So I have total projects, I have project completed. Right? Okay. Now let's check our project table. Under the status, we have completed, delayed, in progress, not started. So basically, any project that is delayed or is in progress, not started, they are all active projects. So that's why we're going to have the total project minus the completed projects, right? So we're going to have new measure. Active projects. So it's total projects minus projects completed. So I have that now. Let's see what we have. 62 is correct. I'll check projects. So the next KPI we're looking at for is the budget variance, because we have, looking at the table, we have the planned budget. So as you can see here, we have the planned budget and the actual budget. So the amount that was planned and the actual amount spent. So with that, we can have the budget variance, which is the difference between the planned and the actual. So first of all, we're going to calculate. So one thing I want to do, I want to delete this column 1 from the model. When I do that, my calculated table becomes, now have a measure table icon. So I want to have new measure for the planned budget. Right, so it's a sum planned budget in euros. Since I'm dealing with amounts, I want to put a comma and most likely pick a euro sign, something like this. Good. Then I'll put 2 decimal place. So let's check what we have planned. So let's have our actual budget. So I'll do the same thing. So the budget variance is difference between the actual and the planned. Now there are 2 ways you can go about it. You can actually do budget minus actual. Now if you are doing budget minus actual, that means if the planned amount spent is higher than the actual spent, that is a good budget variance, right? So if I'm doing, let's get it done, budget variance. So I'm going to work with planned budget minus actual budget, right? So let's check what we have. 51 million. So let's work same principle. Comma. Then activate the euros. So now we have a positive value. That tells you that okay, we are below budget, right? But if I have actual minus planned, I'm going to have a negative value, which is also a positive, negative positive, or it's also a good value. So that means we spent less than what we budgeted, what we plan to spend, right? So good. But what we are looking at for is the budget variance percentage, right? So I'm going to create a new measure. Budget variance percentage is equal to, I'm going to have the function called divide, budget variance divided by the planned variance, then I'll use 0 alternative results, enter. So this has to be a percentage. Now let me put off the plan and actual. Let's put on this. Good. So we have 48.2% budget variance, positive, right? So I don't want the budget variance. So I have 3 already. So it's meaning our average delay a day and the completion percentage. So I'm going to add a new measure, the average delay day. So I'm going to use the average function, and there's a day delay column. So I'm going to get the average of this, right? Let's say we have 10.10 days, which is good. But if you check out what I have here, you see 10.10 days, right? So how am I going to achieve this? These days added in front of it. Now I'm going to put another measure because I don't want to alter this, because I'm going to use it for other measures. I'm going to put a new measure. I'll call this an average day delay. Yes, you can give any name you like. So now I'm going to just have some concatenations, average delay day, and days. So basically I'm going to put space here. So this will work. So I will use this instead of that. Now one thing we're going to do here is to put a conditional formatting. What if the average delay is blank, right? So what happens? What if the average day is blank? So I'm going to put a check in place. So something like, and add the formatting. See, if this average delay is equal to blank, there's a function called blank, comma, I want to return NA, else you should return the format of average delay day, comma. What format do I want it to be? I want it to be just in 2 decimal place. I can just do this, then close the brackets for the format. So and I close bracket for the if. So let's check this out. Perfect. So if I have a blank value, it's going to show NA. Now I've gotten this. Now the next KPI I want to show is the average completion rate. So I have the average. So there's a column called completion percentage. So just the average of that. Now let's see. Now looking at the column, the average percentage, the average completion, the completion percent here is percentage, but it's showing as whole numbers. So what I'm going to do with my measure, because I should just directly apply this to see 55.11, but when I make it a percent, I could see 5,000. So what I could do is just to divide by 100. Good. So get it. So we now need to start structuring this KPI. Okay, so after achieving this, the next important thing that we need to work on is our reference tags. I will see from here we have the project for the last year, then the project change, we have the active projects, the risk, number of projects at risk, then we have the budget variance, either below or above, then we have the target, we're fixing a target of 7 days, then what gap we have, then how many periods are greater than 7 days, then also we're fixing a target of 80% for the completion, then the gaps, the number of projects that are above 80%. So this is very insightful. So we're going to create the measures that tackles this. So since, okay, now I want to get the previous year value to that project. So I can get the percentage change. So I'll create a new measure. Total project previous value, previous year. So I'll use the calculate function. Right, calculate, then total project itself. Okay, let's bring it down here. Then I'll use the date add function. I have my daily calendar date. Right, now the interval should be 1 year, right, -1. -1 means the previous year, -2 means it's 2 previous years, 2 years ago. So -1 is the previous year, right? I could get the previous month by just doing -1 month or working with year. So with this time intelligence, we're able to calculate our previous year value. So I'll close calculate, and okay, let's check out what we have here. Start projects previous year, so 64. That last year we had 64 projects, right? And last year we had just 64 projects. So we're gonna get the ref. So I'm gonna check that. Still on the measure, I'll create a new measure for the total project ref. You can call it label also. Let's call it label. So I want to store in some values with var. First of all, the total project itself. So I want to store the previous year. Right, then I want to calculate the change. What's the difference? So it's definitely the total project minus the previous year, right? as a change. Then I want to get a percentage change. So percentage change. So that I will have so I'm going to have the divide, right? The total project or the change divided by previous, then I'll use 0 as the alternate, right? So now after all of this, I want to return. This is where interesting thing comes in. So let's return the percentage change. Let's see. Let's take it step by step. Now I'm going to have to format this to have my exact percentage. I want it to decimal place. Right. So now under my card, I will edit the reference label. Now under total projects, that's where I'm putting the label. I just have to drag the label down here. Right? You see 12.50. Now I don't want for all. Let's do for all. I don't want any title. Good. Then the value, let's take this value like that. So back to our start project, 12.50, right? So we are working. Let's start improving on that. Okay, considering the fact that we can only have an increase, right? If the previous year is 60, definitely you cannot reduce for next year. So can always have an increase. So I'm going to use this increment function here. So I have this, my ant join change. The change is the difference. How many projects increase, right? So 8 or whatever project increases is. I'll put a space here. Eight projects, right? And then I'm going to put this in a bracket. So yeah, put the ants, put a bracket, close the bracket. Now let me show you what this brings up. Now you can see the change. These spaces, they matter. As you can see, these spaces matter. These spaces, there's no space here, right? You see, no space here, right? It matters. What I have here is just versus previous year. So I think we got in that. So we had 8 projects increase. Then this is percentage increase versus previous year compared to last year, right? The next measure I'm going to create is a active project label. Okay, so I'm going to create a new label, the active project label. Now this active project label is showing the project that are at risk, the active project that are at risk. So I'm going to get that, the at risk project. And there's a column called risk, project risk status, a calculated column. So I have risk, so I want to return so this shows me the number that's at risk, and I'll say whatever number is there at risk requires attention. So let's check okay, and let's it up. Let's see what we have. On that reference label, I will select the active project. So I just need to bring the label down here. So I got this. So currently we have 45 projects at risk and requires attention. Now I want to add something to this. If I have the at risk as 0, so I will probably want to show no project at risk requires no project at risk, right? So something like if at risk is less than or equal to 0, right? So I want no project at risk that requires attention. So if it's false, I would rather show this. So let's check this out. So if I should bring probably a slicer, let's bring in a slicer. Then I want to show completed projects, probably set risk level. For high, you will see 14 at risk. For low, 9 at risk. For medium, 22 at risk. Okay, I want to check the one that could show me. Right, you see. So no project at risk that requires attention, right? So the next reference I want to prepare is the budget variance label, right? So we're going to create that now. Now I want to store in some values like the amount, now currently our budget variance is quite large, in the millions, so I want to divide it with a million so that I can have it in decimal. So I'm going to use the divide function. Now budget variance can be negative or positive. I want to return the absolute value of the budget variance itself, right? So that's the numerator. The denominator will be the 1 million, right? Then alternative is 0. So I've stored the amount. Then I want to store the action needed. I'll call it action needed. That's to check if it's below budget or above budget, right? So basically, if the planned budget is greater than the actual budget, right? So what do we have? If the plan is greater than the actual, that means it's below the budget. Right? Else to be above budget. Now this all adds up. Take it step by step. So I'll close the bracket. So another thing I want to store is, okay, so what do we need to do? Is there any action needed? Okay, this rather should be called to check. Well, I will call this action needed. Okay, because check if it's above budget or below budget. So action needed to check the same check. Just copy everything and place. So if plan is above actual, so no action needed. But if it's below, definitely some actions will be needed. So now let's get to what we're going to. I'm going to return. I want to format our amount, right? Okay, let's check out something. Let's see what the amount returns. So we'll use it and we'll see where we have, so that we could update our record, our measure. Now basically, like we have here, I'm going to bring in the budget variance and the budget variance so 40, this is actually 40 million, 50 million, sorry, that's 50 million because I divided it with 1 million, so 50 million. So I put this label. So the next thing I want to do is to format this so that we can know, okay, this is in millions, right? So I want to put in my euro sign. Okay, I'll add that later. So I want to return something like this, close the bracket, and so the action needed or the check and the action needed. So let's see what we have there. So 58, so they are all joined together. So on that thing we're going to do is to provide space. Now instead of me adding space here, I could do something like this. Just add a space here. Okay, that's what we have. Now we have what we have already. 50 million below budget, no action needed. So we are telling our story through the labels, through the reference labels. Okay, so the next reference label we're going to work on is, one important thing I'm going to do here is to add the euros sign. Okay, let's see. I think this is it. Good. What did I do? I press the Windows button plus the full stop. It pops up the icon, so I could select quite a lot of things from here, as you could see. So that's how I added that. Let's see what we have. Good. So that's done. So I want to add the average delay label ref, right? Average delay label. Now still I want to store in some values like delay day we already have already, which is the average delay day, right? Then based on our recommendation, we'll set the target to 7, right? Set the target to 7, and this is 7 days. I'll comment that 7 days based on organization standard, so that you could actually remember when you open the measure. So I want to get the previous year value, right? So remember our function calculating the delay day. So we are date add, we're using date add, and we have a date, calendar date. Hold on. Now we're using -1 because it's the previous, and working with a year. Okay, that's the previous year. So the next thing I want to calculate is performance. Okay, I need to calculate the performance. Performance is actually the target minus the delay day. So if I'm getting a negative, that means it has exceeded the target. If it's a positive, it's below the target, right? So I also want to calculate the change. So that's the percentage change from the previous year till this year. So let's specify that year over year change. So I'm going to use the divide function. So always do then delay the numerator minus the previous year. So divided by the previous year, alternate is 0. So we're getting there. Also, we want to look at the delays that are number of delays that are more than delays above targets. The number of delays, the number of projects that had delays above the target. So remember, we calculate function. Calculate so total projects where the days delay column is greater than 7. I want to get. So another thing we're going to need to get is we'll store in the text, the delay text. So I want to check if so the next thing we're going to do is to check for delay. Is it less than 0? So check the delay check. So if delay above targets is less than or equal to 0, we return 0, else we return the delay above targets. Right. Now I think we've studied all our important values. Now I'm going to return, first of all, I'm going to say the target. So let's save this first. So I'll register it with the KPI. As editing it, we'll see the changes that's been made. Now I'm working with the average day delay. Just need to bring the label right here. Okay, target is 7, as you can see. So, and I want to not just 7, I want to show days, right? Now we could have just added days here, but it will affect the functions, the formula. So I'm going to concatenate days here, right? So target 7 days. What's the gap between the average day delay we have and the target? So still working on this. So I'm going to be separating them with this and okay. So the gap performance, right? So also that's this. Let's check what we have here. So take it step by step. We're telling the story, as you know. Okay, the gap is less than 3.1 days. Interesting. So we are still adding up. So the delay check. So that's to check number of delays that are projects that are above the targets. So you could say this of total projects. We just bring it here. So let's check what this gives. So we've seen that the target is 7 days and the gap is 3.1 days. So we have 7 of 72 projects are above targets. So what I will just do, above, greater than targets. Let's see what we have. So the next reference I'm going to have is the reference for the average completion percentage. So create a new measure. So we have almost the same approach compared to the previous. So I'm still going to have a target. I also put it at 80%, which is 0.8. So the val the complete percentage is what we have, the average complete. Another thing I want to store is the gap. Gap is the complete minus the target, right? So now I also want to check those that are above target. So we calculate the total projects that have a completion percentage. So as a column greater than or equal to target. Now this using I need to update my targets because in the column we have it 80. So why here just to divided by 100. Good. Just divided by 100. So the next thing I want to check out is the commercials are returning from here. Okay, let's check if the above target is less than or equal to 0. Let's return 0, else return the above target. This is just a double check to avoid errors. Now I want to return, just like we have in the previous, the targets, right? And what's my targets? My targets here. So I also want to add the percentage part of it, right? Okay, let's, like we did before, let's add it over here so that we could keep track of what we are adding and removing. So target is 80%. So what's the gap? The gap is, so I want to format it because the gap is going to give us some strange figures. So I'll format it as 2 decimal or a decimal place percentage, or put it around 2. So 0.00, okay, that's been double quotes, 0.00%, something like this. So that's done. So let's check what that gives us. So this is the gap, it's a minus. That tells you that this is the gap to the target. So we still have a long way to go, right? Now, so I want to know how many are above the targets. How many projects are above the target? So what I'll just do, and so we already have above the target, right? So what's about number we have here of the total projects, right? Is greater than targets. So remember, we're going to put a percentage. So let's check what we have. So 20 out of 72 projects are greater than 80%. So we are getting there. So looking at this, we could see the story that we're trying to pass across. Now, one thing I'm going to do is to my page, I want to adjust the canvas setting to custom. The height is always 1080, 1920. Good. So now I could start editing the value, make it 30, right? So reference label layouts, let's check it out. Okay, the value, let's use let's try to expand it. Let's see. Okay. Let's use theme. Okay, 14. Okay. So basically what we're doing now is to edit this 13. Good. Then also we are going to on the cards. You don't want any divider, don't want any background. Basically no border. Yeah, I want the accent bar, or should be, let's make it 5, and now we are going to add a conditional formatting. But before that, I will use for the accents formatting for the accents bar and for the accent bar, and so basically let's use this or Intaka color. Yeah, I think this is good. For cards like budget variance, average day delay, I want to add a conditional formatting for the text and for the accent bar. So I'm going to need to create a measure, a color measure. So new measure. So I'll call it var color, right? So I want to check if the planned budget is greater than the actual, right? That's a good sign, right? What we planned is greater than what we actually spent. So I would use the color green. I'm just going to make it simple. I could copy the hex, but I'll just use this as simple as this: green, else you show red. So this is good for this. So I want to have a new measure. So delay color, right? So I'm checking if the average delay day, remember, is greater than 7, which is our target. So I want to be red, right? Else to be green. So let's check it out. So first of all, I'm going to add to the channel. First of all, let's add to the ascent bar. For now, I'm under cards. Apply setting to, remember to select this, else to apply to all the cards. Now I want to apply this setting to budget variance, right? Now I'll go to the ascent bar, click the FX function. I want the field value. Just type in color here, it brings out all the colors. So I set this, let's check. Good, so this means it's good. It's a green notification, that's good. So I will do the same for the average day delay. So the FX wants this, check for color, delay color, red, that is above the body target. Okay, so the next thing I want to work on is the card itself, callout values. So still here under the callouts, I will select the budget variance. Under the value, pick the FX. I'll pick field value. So we have here green, then the average delay, that color, and the field value. Have this. Good. So with this now, we've been able to, I want to make it bolder. Yeah, make it bolder. Right? So another thing we could do, we could also add it to the reference label, but I'll leave that for now. The same principle. So what other thing can we do? Let's increase the label size 14. Good. And the value, let me make it 35. Yeah. So looking at this now, it tells a better story than just having a card like this. Let's show you what we had before. To the projects, we had active projects, budget variance, this now you could see the transition from this to this, right? So now let's select some slices. Let's do it based on status. Let's see, completed. You can see it's now red, right? Completion is 100%. For delayed, see NAD. So we can actually correct this to no day, right? So rather than NA. So how do we correct that? So we'll open our average day delay. Good, something like this. right? You can see there is no delay. So what we could actually do there again is you put no delay rather than no days. So let's have that. So if this is blank, no day, no delay, right? Rather format. So I would bring in this. So it depends on how you want to show your value. So no delay, right? So see, so let's check with another slicer. Let's check with risk level. So okay, because this is showing the number that are above, so let's put rather let's use none, right? Let's use none. So we'll see it's telling us sorry. For the high risk level, you can see that just 4 out of 18 are greater than 80%. For the medium, you can see that 7 out of 34, and you can see that 22 are at risk, right? So this is how I tackled the KPI. This is just very basic, but how to use your reference label, and tell a better story. Thank you very much.